All right. LDW MMAC, this is your boy, the Coach Show, live on the Coach Show, the Coach Show live. Woo, buddy. People wanted my opinion about what did I think about Cris Cyborg's response to Kayla Hype Job Harrison. This is a video. I got this from Cris Cyborg's Instagram. You can go and you can see how Cris responded. And shout out to my boy Joseph Coordinator for putting me up on this. This is funny. Cris Cyborg pretty much responded like a boss supposed to respond. She responded like a boss supposed to respond, and she dismissed Kayla Harrison yet again. And I'm glad that Cris Cyborg has been dismissing Kayla Harrison, because everybody named Mama know, everybody in their right mind know and understand that Cris Cyborg will beat the fuck out of Kayla Harrison. And folks, there's just no other way to say this. Okay, she's going to go in there and she's going to completely decimate Kayla Harrison. Folks, I'm going to tell y'all something, okay? Remember I told you guys what was going to happen when Kayla Harrison, when she lost for the first time. Folks, I gave you guys a play-by-play freaking analysis of what Kayla Harrison is going to do. I gave you a mental breakdown. I gave you a mental profile breakdown of what this moron was going to do. I told you. I said Kayla Harrison was going to be missing off of the map for probably over a year. We ain't going to hear from her. She ain't going to say nothing. She going to be out. Okay? And of course I was right. Kayla Harrison didn't come to that gym for months. She was missing. This woman was depressed. She was depressed. She was overly depressed about losing to Larissa Pacheco. And I told you what was going to happen. The only thing I got wrong is that, I said Kayla was going to get knocked out her first loss. That's the only thing I got wrong. But Larissa Pacheco beat the hell out of her. Whooped Kayla's ass. But I told y'all it was coming down the pipe. And I told y'all what this girl was going to do. And then I said, now watch. I said in about a year, Kayla Harrison gonna grow some testicles. And she's going to come back. And I said the first person she going to call out is Cris Cyborg. Guys, I said this. I gave y'all a play-by-play breakdown of this behemoth. I told you what this behemoth was going to do. Did it happen? Did Kayla Harrison do everything that I said? And that is a yes. Kayla Harrison wins. First person she calls out is who? Cris Cyborg. Oh, my God. She called out Cris Cyborg. And I thought to myself, you still got Larissa Pacheco problems. Because if you ain't beating Pacheco, Cris Cyborg is going to destroy you. And I'm going to tell you, a 38-year-old Cris Cyborg right now, I think this version of Cris Cyborg is even more dangerous. Because now she's adding the wrestling and a jiu-jitsu into her game. I think this version of Cris Cyborg is more dangerous. And Cris Cyborg responded like a boss supposed to. Cris just yawned and went back to bed. Like, dismiss Kayla because Kayla, you're irrelevant. And I told y'all this woman been clout chasing and clout chasing and clout chasing and clout chasing over and over and over. We know that that's a fight that's going to happen. Okay? The guys of MMA now, that Kayla Harrison has pretty much point blank came out and said, hey, Cris Cyborg, or she didn't say Cris Cyborg's name, but she said, there's somebody here, now that Bellator and PFA, they've been, PFL bought out Bellator, and there's a person who thinks she's a bad B, okay? I want to fight this bad B. Called her out, and, cool. I like to call out because at least Kayla isn't, taking, at least she ain't taking a step back. At least Kayla is, trying to go ahead and do something great. And I can't fault Kayla for wanting to fight the best. I can't do it. But Kayla been running her mouth. And guys, this has been ongoing for years, okay? Years. Like, Kayla been talking a gang for years about Cris Cyborg. And I think now's the time, okay? I think it's time to hit Kayla while the getting is good. Because it wasn't like Kayla went in there and just beat the hell out of Aspen Ladd. Aspen Ladd had her spots. And Aspen Ladd resisted. Okay, Aspen Ladd was resisting. She kept getting up. Kayla Harrison would take her down, Aspen Ladd would get her ass right back up. So it wasn't like Aspen Ladd was doing like all the way horrible in the fight. Now, did Kayla dominate the fight? Yeah, she dominated. But Aspen Ladd had her moments. And of course, and I told y'all, when Kayla Harrison started taking these fighters who tough as hell, you gonna see her submissions and finishes go down. She ain't gonna be able to finish these people. And Aspen Ladd is a tough fighter. Okay, I said this fight is up in the air for me. And I said that Aspen Ladd actually got a chance to win because Aspen Ladd can fight. It's not like Aspen is a bum. She's not a bum. Okay? I mean, Aspen can fight. Aspen not as skillful, but Aspen Ladd got a chin. She got hit by Jermaine Durandam. Now, GDR knocked out. But if GDR hit anybody flush, Jermaine Durandam is knocking him out. The fact that Aspen Ladd still wanted to continue after GDR slumped her, that's still impressive to me. Okay, if GDR punch anybody flush, they going to sleep. But Aspen Ladd has proven herself. She's a tough fighter. Her problems in the UFC came when she couldn't make weight. She kept missing weight. That's why Aspen Ladd didn't in the UFC. It wasn't because of her overall performance. Because the UFC, they actually liked Aspen Ladd. But when you can't make weight and you constantly, making them, having to rebook fights, that's expensive. Rebooking a fight is expensive. And, having to get the person there, you got to fly them. You got to pay for their hotel. You got to, it's a lot. And a lot of expenses involved when you have to rebook an opponent. So that's why the UFC got rid of Aspen Ladd's ass. But it wasn't because of, her overall performance. Aspen Ladd can fight. And I'm going to tell y'all this. In Coach Adama's mode, Cris Cyborg finna get in here. And she's going to brutalize Kayla Harrison and probably stop Kayla in the 4th round. She's going to brutalize Kayla Harrison. She's going to brutalize her for 4 straight rounds. I promise you. This is a fight that Cris is playing it off. Cris want to beat this girl's ass. Literally. And that's the Brazilian in Cris. The Brazilians, they're the Brazilian fighters, when you talk about them, and you talk about them like saying you want to fight, look, Brazilian women, they want to get down. The Brazilian women want to get down. That's the Brazilian in Cris. Don't let Cris Cyborg fool you. Don't let her fool you. Cris Cyborg probably been thinking for about 1.5 years how bad she want to beat Kayla ass. Literally, Cris wants to beat. This is somebody Cris want to beat down. And with Cris, it's not even personal, but it is somebody she want to beat up. This is somebody Cris want to shut up. It's pretty much in there. And you can even hear, out of the way Cris used to talk about her in the past. It's like Cris is she tired of Kayla Harrison. Yeah, we all tired of Kayla. We all tired, and we want to see Kayla get knocked out once and for all. Because all she do is talk and run her mouth and talk. She arrogant. See, I gave y'all a personality profile on Kayla Harrison. I told y'all what she was about. I explained to you guys what Kayla Harrison was about. I told y'all this. I told you what she was about. And I said that, Kayla wasn't the pretty girl at school. Okay? Dudes didn't flock at Kayla's feet to try to take her out on dates. I mean, come on. Okay? Michigan beat Ohio. Damn, I gotta go check that out. The guys, they didn't go to Kayla and be like, oh, Kayla, please, I love you. No, man, wasn't nobody checking for Kayla on that end. Wasn't nobody trying to hang out. Kayla had to fall in love with judo. Because guess what? Judo didn't care if you wore makeup. Judo didn't care if you had the best body. Judo didn't care if you had the best looking face. All judo wanted you to do is spend time with judo. If you spend time with judo, judo was going to love you back. That's it. And Kayla had to fall in love with judo. Because that's the only thing. Because Kayla Harrison is very insecure. She insecure and she got a self-image problem. And I told you this. Kayla Harrison, she don't like how she look in the mirror. She don't like the way she looks. So what does Kayla have to do? She have to compensate for it. By being arrogant, by saying stupid stuff. She's got to compensate for what she not. That's what she's doing. It's called compensation. And, she's been doing it for a long time. And she good at it. But see, when she lost, that exposed it pretty much exposed Kayla Harrison. It exposed her. Of course we knew what was going down. Of course we understood. I mean, we saw it. I saw it a mile away. Like, could you imagine the embarrassment that Kayla felt when she lost? Because for the first time in her life, the one thing that she loved, it actually failed her when she fought Pacheco. Because that's all that Kayla had. That's all she had. Like, that's it. That's it. Okay? She didn't have, like, you know, the magazines want to take photographs of her, and, you know, they don't want to, you know, she's not like a Ronda Rousey, who, I don't know why people thought this, but Ronda was a sex symbol for a lot of grown men, not me. But, you know, Kayla Harrison wasn't going to garner that kind of attention. She just wasn't going to. Like, nobody is going to look at Kayla Harrison like, so Kayla, the only thing she can do is beat people up. But unfortunately, when you get beat up, okay, and when the one thing that you do well on planet Earth don't work for you, guess what happens? You begin to lose yourself. Okay, you begin to lose yourself. And then, moreover, you begin to have doubts about who you really are. And this is the stage that Kayla Harrison in. Don't let all that bravado fool y'all. Okay, this is one insecure woman. Kayla Harrison's insecurities is written all over her face. This girl insecure. Okay, extremely insecure. I guarantee you, and I'm going to tell you how I know. No, I'm going to tell you. If you ever be around Kayla Harrison, and if let's say if Kayla walked into a room full of beautiful women, okay? The first thing that Kayla Harrison will do, and I'm going to tell y'all this, the first thing she'll do is start boasting about her athletic accomplishments. Or she'll start boasting about what she got and how much money she got and what she's done in judo. Because she can't boast about anything else. She can't boast about her looks. She can't boast about that. But she'll boast because she's got to compensate for what she don't have. I like this response by Cris Cyborg. I love this response. Cris Cyborg responded like the OG that she is. And pretty much you don't mean anything on the food chain, Kayla. That's how Cris Cyborg responded. You're nothing to me. I'm finna go and have a good night's sleep. And you know what? People like Kayla, they don't like to be ignored either. Like, people like Kayla Harrison don't like to be ignored. Like, they want to be the center of attention. And Cris ignored her. Now, I'm going to tell you what Kayla going to do next. Then Kayla is going to run around here, and she's going to accuse Cris Cyborg of being afraid of her. Now, you watch what I tell you. She's going to accuse Cris Cyborg of not wanting to fight her. And we already know that's a lie. We already know that that's going to be a lie, okay? Cris Cyborg isn't afraid. And Cris Cyborg wasn't even afraid back in the past. But see, a lot of people don't understand, like, money. And Cris is at a stage in her career, the fights that she got to choose, she has to be very selective. If the fights don't make a lot of money, it don't make a lot of sense. When Cris Cyborg was 21 and 25 years old, she could take these fights and just beat people's ass that called her out. But now the fights got to make sense. And the PFL, they're going to come and they're going to give Cris a hell of a lot of money to fight Kayla Harrison. And it may even be Cris's biggest payday. It might be. I don't know for sure. But they're going to give Cris Cyborg a great deal of money. But the fight's got to make sense, okay? Because Cris probably going to fight maybe 4 more years, maybe. Who knows? And Cris is trying to cash out, which that's her right to. She's earned the right to cash out. She's earned the right to take the big money fights. She's earned that right. She spent, 25 years in this game. And I'm sorry, fighting is something that you see a lot of broken down fighters. A lot of fighters, they fought their whole career and they got nothing to show. They have nothing. And I think Cris Cyborg has earned the right. She's earned that right, okay? She's earned the right to take the fights that she want to take that's going to make her the most amount of money and that's going to maximize her earning potential. I think she's earned that right. So Cris ain't scared. Cris is trying to see what makes sense. And if the money right, she gonna beat Kayla ass. But I think the money will be right. And I think, because this is the fight the fans want to see now. We want to see Kayla get mocked again. We want to, if she's struggling, can't even get rid of Aspen Ladd, okay, got beat up by Pacheco, what do you think's going to happen to Cyborg? I'm just trying to tell you, what do you think's going to happen to Cyborg? And then Kayla Harrison is going to have to come down to 145 pounds. Because Kayla Harrison was sitting here running around here talking about she can fight at 145 now. So I don't want to hear no mess when Kayla got to come down to 145 and then be whining and telling she was too small. Because you know when Cris knock her out at 145, Kayla going to be like, oh, well, fight me at 155. Fight me at 155. You won't fight me there, will ya? I ain't Kayla. She ain't going to do it. But anyway, salute to Cris Cyborg, the Grand Slam champ, and taking care of this idiot Kayla Hype Job Harrison. I'm done.